Hey guys, so today I am going to be talking about something different, something that I don't typically talk about on my channel, and that is college and my college experience and the college that I go to. So I go to the Fashion Institute of Technology and I am a junior there now. So I just started my bachelor's program and I kind of wanted to share like some tips on how to get in and my experience so far and what I think of the school, because I just feel like videos like these are just very helpful, and I wish I would have watched something like this when I was applying, and for some reason I don't remember ever like looking up videos or anything like that. But I know that today in 2018 everybody's on YouTube and everybody watches videos, so I thought that this would be a good video. I'm just gonna start off with saying again, I'm a junior, so I've been there for about 3 years now. This would be my 3rd year, and I have been to other colleges in the past, so I have a pretty good idea on the difference between FIT and a 4-year college experience. I went to Adelphi University, and that was when I was straight out of high school, and I went to Adelphi University because I said I wanted to be a nurse. I don't know why I said that, because being a nurse was never something that I wanted to do, and I think that was just because the people that I was surrounded by, just me being a 17-year-old, you know, you kind of like do everything that the people around you are doing, or you kind of just want to like follow the crowd, and I think that's just what I was doing, and that's why I wanted to go to a 4-year, because that was kind of what was like acceptable in my school. I went to a very small all-girls school, Catholic school on the Upper East Side. So they were very like big on education, very big on like going to a 4-year, and my classmates were very, very smart. I will not lie, they were not dumb girls. They were all very smart, and they were all going to 4 years, and a good handful of them did actually go to Ivy Leagues. So you can imagine when you're 17 and everybody's going to a 4-year and Ivy League, you're like, art school? Like, are you kidding me? I would never do that. So that was kind of like how I was feeling at the time. So that was me when I was 17, and I wanted to do like the whole college thing. I wanted to dorm, I wanted to be in a sorority and all of that. So art school doesn't have sororities or anything like that, by the way, so if you didn't know that, now you know. We do have clubs and stuff. Basically, we don't have sororities or frats. But anyway, so I went to Adelphi University, right? And I lasted for a semester there because I was just kind of came to my senses really, really quickly. I was just like, Madison, why are you doing this? You know you don't want to be a nurse, and this school is a very, 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 very expensive school. I think it was about $45,000 a year at the time. I don't know what it is now, but I'm pretty sure back then that's how much it was. So the semester, even the semester that I went there, was so expensive, and I was kind of just like really thinking about it. And most of the time when you're 18 and you're in a school where everybody's just pushing you to go to college, go to a 4-year, that's really expensive, because don't worry, you'll figure it out. It's okay, everybody does it, just go, just make sure you go. I kind of like really thought about it and was like, well, honestly, if you're not gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, how are you gonna pay this money back? So I left there. Thank God I left there. That was like one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I started to work, and I started to work in cosmetics because I already knew that I wanted to be in something like PR, makeup, cosmetics, beauty, and I just started off with being a makeup artist. So I still do makeup today, but that was a time when I left school and I just started to work because I kind of just wanted to build a brand and work on my own kind of personal freelance business. During the gap where I left Adelphi and I started FIT, my parents were really on top of me about going back to school, and I think it was because they saw that I was just like very serious about working and really excited about it, and I wanted to get more work, and I really wanted to build my brand. There was just like nothing driving me to go to college. I just didn't have that, like, I don't know, I just didn't have the urge to go back. So finally, they had convinced me. So during that time, I applied to FIT 2 times, and I got denied 2 times. So looking back, I could definitely say why I did not get into the school 2 times, and it took me 3 times to get into FIT. So that just goes to show you, if you really want something and you really feel like something's for you, you just have to be persistent and you have to keep on going for that, because nobody's gonna hand you anything in life. And if there's anything that I learned in this 24 years of living, that is just so true. No matter what you want, no matter if it's a college or if it's a job, unfortunately it's just not the way life works. But anyway, the semester before I started at FIT, I was actually at BMCC, which is a community college in Manhattan, and I went there because I was like, let me just get some credits instead of wasting time and not getting credits, and then I'll be in school even longer. So I started there, and I was gonna stay there until I got into FIT because I was still applying to FIT. And finally, of course, that semester that I started at BMCC, I got into FIT. So then the next following semester, I went to FIT. Now this is where I'm going to talk about the tips that I have for you to get into FIT. Now the first 2 times that I applied, looking back, kind of reflecting on that experience and why I did not get in, it's kind of very obvious. So the first reason would be is that those 2 times that I applied, guys, I applied so late, like I don't even know like if I cared to get into the school, because I was just applying so late. Like I would apply the week before the deadline, 2 weeks before the deadline. Like guys, that is not enough time. So if you're interested in going to FIT and applying, make sure you go on that website and you see when the applications are open and when they're available, because you need to apply that week that the application's open. FIT is so competitive. You want to be the first one that has their essay reviewed, that has their grades reviewed, because then you have a higher chance of getting in. And I know this seems obvious, but I feel like when you're in high school, they're more on top of you about like deadlines and when to apply and little tips like that. But if you're a transfer student like I was, sometimes you kind of forget those things, and I'm just gonna be here to remind you that applying early is essential, and that is with anything in life. So just take that with you. Do not do anything last minute, because it never works. I'm telling you, it never works. It never works, and something will always go wrong. So please, just make sure you apply early. That is my #1 tip. When the application's open, submit your applications. Have everything ready before the applications are open, because it is so important. Now my next tip is, if you need to write an essay. Now I'm speaking kind of like through my experience. I'm an AMC major, so that means I am an advertising, marketing, communications major. That's what AMC stands for. And for that major, you need to write an essay. So this might seem very obvious too, but your essay should be based on something that you do in your everyday life that kind of is a form of PR, is a form of marketing and communications. So if you are a blogger, that's a form of marketing and communications. So you definitely want to talk about your blog and how you run that blog if you're a blogger. I'm just trying to give an example. Whatever major you're applying to, make sure that essay tells them that you're basically already in this field and you're basically already doing this in your everyday life, and this is how you do it. Tell them how you do it. Basically that you just want to better your business by getting a higher education, and I feel like that is just the key to the essay. Just make sure it has something to do and it's involved with your major, because I feel like you could never like go wrong with that. So those are my like 2 major tips to make sure you do. Do not forget to do that. So now for my experience at FIT. My experience at FIT so far for the past 3 years now has been a positive one. I really do like that my professors can talk about something and relate what I am learning to my industry and what's happening in my industry. And unfortunately for my other colleges, I could never say that. I never had a professor that would kind of link anything or help anything make sense for me, because they were talking about my industry and what's happening there and how that works in my industry. They never like applied it to a real life situation that would make sense for me. So that's what I love about FIT, is that they talk about cosmetics, they talk about fashion, and they incorporate that into the whole program itself. So that's like my favorite thing about FIT, is that it just makes way more sense for me and what I'm doing as a beauty influencer and a beauty vlogger, whatever you want to call me. I also do really love and appreciate that most of the professors there are industry professionals in PR, in marketing, in advertising. They will always be able to tell you what really goes on, and if you get a job, kind of what it will be like, what to expect, what you really need to know, and just those really important things that I feel like for some reason at other colleges they don't really do that. They kind of just focus on like your assignments and then like that's it. So for me personally, as a creative person, if you're not talking about anything that I care for, it's just very likely that I'm just gonna like blank you out and like not even listen to you because I don't really care for what you're saying. So that was my issue with other colleges, and I like that I could do my projects based on stuff that I love, stuff like beauty, stuff like cosmetics, things like fashion. So things that I care about, I am able to base my projects off on, and they're not gonna look at me like I'm crazy, or they're not gonna tell me that I need to pick something else because it's not something they like and it's not something they want to read about. My classes have always been 3 hours or more. I do have a class this semester that I think is about like 5 hours. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5, but it's a long class, and it goes fast because we have a lot of work to do and it's computer work. So I think that's why it's so long, and it's actually really not bad. When I saw that it was like 5 or 4 hours, I was like, oh my god, I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like I was like, what am I going to be learning in this class that is going to take that long? But it's not even that bad. It goes by really fast. I know 3 hours sounds like an insane amount of time. You're just like, what is happening that I need to be in this class for 3 hours? But most of the time it's not that bad. Sometimes you get out early. They do give you a break. The breaks are not like very long or extensive at all. I feel like I really only get like 5 minutes, and 10 is a lot if I get 10, if I'm just being like very honest. So I would love to talk about like dorms and stuff, but I don't dorm at FIT. I'm a commuter student, so I have never really seen like dorms there. I've been in one dorm and it was actually a nice dorm and it was a nice size. I've been to a couple different dorms, especially from like visiting my friends in college and other college parties. I haven't seen all of them, and I'm sure not all of them look like that, but the one that I went into was very nice, and I'm sorry that I can't give you like any dorming experiences or advice at FIT. I do know, as far as social life, we do not have anything like homecoming or anything like that. If your heart is like really set on that and you feel like you wouldn't have a college experience without that, then I don't know if FIT is for you, because we don't really have that like super school spirit, and I think that's just because there are a lot of commuter students in the school, and I know that's the way that students who dorm, I know that's how they feel, because I hear them say that a lot. And I actually feel the opposite. I feel like there are so many students that dorm and less of us commute, but they always tell me that they feel differently. I don't know if that's just because, you know, when you're on the other side, it always feels different. But FIT is literally in Chelsea, in Manhattan. So as for social life, like, New York is New York, so I guess it's kind of like what you make it. I know you need to be 21 to get into clubs and bars. I am not condoning like underage drinking and stuff, but I know people who are under 21, and you know, they always find a way. You always find a way when you're that age. And I know from my personal experience from just going out and partying, in that part of Manhattan you have like all of the bars and the clubs. Like, they have so many places to go. Like, they're so lucky. I could name like 3 clubs that you could go to in that area. So yeah, like I said, I feel like it's kind of just what you make it. You have to put yourself out there, especially when you're in college. Especially when you're in college, like, you want to make friends. You don't want to be alone all the time. In a networking sense, you definitely want to meet other people because you never know what they do. It's just always good to make friends because you never know who could inspire you, who could maybe even help you out one day, and you guys might even be working together one day. So it ends up working out. This is basically the end of my video. Finally, I think I hit all the important points, like how to get in, which is kind of essential. If you want to go there, you're gonna need to know how to get in, social life, what the classes are like, and my own experience. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you got through this whole video, I am in shock because I already know this video is so long. So if you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments and I will try to answer them for you. But I will see you in my next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!